Our February 8th budget meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go ahead and take roll, Mayor.
Murray?
Here.
Grimby?
Here.
Hedrick?
Yep.
Getzinger?
Here.
Wacky?
Okay, I'm going to make a request to add a emergency repair to tonight's agenda based on a trip hazard at the senior center. Our senior director stumbled on a block of cement that's been heaved, and she
Right at the door?
twisted her ankle. No, it's at the parking lot sidewalk where it meets the sidewalk. And so I contacted Tom Kuhn, and although the Tommy quoted 500-ish renting a cement grinder, I wanted to ask the board for permission to, not to exceed 700.
It's just gonna grind down the trip hazard?
Yeah, yep, it's gonna blend it in.
So
How big of a trip, do you know how big it was?
About an inch and a half.
is it, and I'm sorry if I missed it because my head's,
I mean, we can discuss all that. I just want to ask permission
Oh,
to
yeah.
put it on the agenda for the board to make a decision because it is our senior center, and Donna was hurt today by falling over.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
support.
Okay. And public comments? Anybody online, public comments? Yes, sir?
Oh, he's just asking.
Okay. Not hearing any public comments. We'll enter our work session for fiscal year 22-23 general fund budget.
We're gonna discuss the budget first or that other item?
We can discuss the other item first, that's fine. We're gonna get through them, so.
Yeah.
But basically, Donna called me, she twisted her ankle pretty good, falling on the cement. She has a concern because it's the first flag of cement going in from the parking lot. And she said she painted some white paint on it, but it looks like snow. It doesn't really look like
Yeah.
the safety, well, so.
Was it heaved before or is it just frost?
This frost pushed it up.
Yeah, it wasn't like that before when
Yeah.
we had our
I'm a little
election.
concerned
Okay, so
if
it's
we-
not a sunken piece, it's a raised
Raised.
I'm a
piece,
little
okay.
The
concerned
flag
if
of
we
cement came up.
grind
Okay.
it down, is it gonna be a trip hazard the other way?
But you can make a filler. You can fill it in. You can't, right now it's a step.
Sure, I mean,
And
we
so
don't
what
want it to
Tom was
trip.
saying is if you want me to blanket it, heat it, soften it up, and start moving it, we're talking 2,500 plus. I said, well, all I need is the trip hazard gone, so,
Yeah,
people get their,
You can buy, it sounds like you already knows whatsoever, you can buy even a diamond blade for an angle grinder that can work. We did that
Yeah.
recently and it worked pretty well,
Well,
so.
Tom does cement work, right?
yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, if you-
Just fire hauling.
Yep.
yeah.
But
We don't want
I'd
somebody
like to,
tripping until then, we could always figure out how to fix it properly. If it settles too much, it becomes an issue later.
I would just like permission from the board to have Tom Kuhn repair the trip hazard at the senior center for a cost not to exceed $700.
I'll second. Murray?
Yes,
Hedrick?
Yep.
Grimby?
Yes.
Getzinger?
Yes.
Wacky?
Thank you. Now our fiscal year general fund budget.
How do you wanna go through this tonight? Are we just gonna,
Well, I'm thinking, again, the best thing, because so the public, I have 4 people online. We should probably just go through it and, talk about the items that were changed. We've got some marked up yellow items, and then we can explain how it was put in there.
I mean, in my opinion, we've gone through the whole budget twice. I would say it may be prudent to go through the items that have changed. If somebody was interested, I'm sure they were listening to previous meetings, or can listen to the previous meetings.
Yeah,
If if you wanna go through every item.
Yeah, I would like to think that it's potential, but if somebody hasn't listened to it, I know that one of these folks hasn't been on here for a budget meeting. But we'll just go through it quick. Tax revenue, 262,919, tax collection income, 7,949.50, forfeited bonds and re-inspections, 1,500, building permits, 46,000, electrical permits, 16,000, mechanical permits, 15,000, plumbing permits, 8,000, federal grants, 199,760, state grants, none, local community shared, Metro Act, 7,400, liquor state shared, 1,300, sales revenue sharing, $337,782, smart municipal, 2,575, smart community, 10,222, property lease farming, 1,434, refunds, FOIA and DTE Berlin, because we share a siren with them, 1,100, ordinance enforcement, 2,500, the sale of property, this was added $1 to keep that line open in case the township wanted to sell one of its properties. Zoning Board of Appeals, 550, zoning splits, land divisions, 2,500, Xerox zoning books, $1, other grant revenue, $1, election reimbursements, 5,000, senior event tickets, 5,000, interest revenue, 550, special meetings, reviews and planning, 8,000. Cemetery plots, kept it open for $1, park supplies, no budget. Bond, insurance, dividends and refunds, we kept it open for $1. So for our total is $943,046.50. That's our total estimated revenues. Our appropriations, senior smart municipal credits, 2,572. Senior smart community credits, 4,861. Cal smart community credits, 4,861. ASEP smart community credits, 500. Office improvements, 4,000. Capital outlay, 400,000. Do you want to explain the totals in there?
The American Rescue Plan Act, we received another check for $804.10. We had $399,560 for 20, so we just added that in there. So
So
that's the correct amount.
Our total art funds are $400,324.10. Computers and miscellaneous, 1,500. That was changed so we could look into that virtual 3D recorder for the online folks. Sewer engineering permits, 1,000. Engineering alternate, 1,000. Land purchase, $1, for a total of $420,619.10. And that's our, if you will, appropriations. Our governmental expenses, wages, trustees, $8,523.70.
Hold up just a second there.
Yep.
I do want to reiterate a point that I made at the first meeting, which was, as a matter of principle, I'm not interested in a wage increase myself, so I'm not going to support a wage increase, at least reflecting my wage in here. And then I know the clerk did a good job of submitting at least her backup justification for her proposed wage increases to all the departments. But
Which are cost of living increases.
yeah, but I still think that a 6% is not consistent with what the rest of the working force is going to have, so I won't support that. I'm just giving you guys a heads up.
Okay, thank you. Life insurance governmental, 1,500. Employees FICA, 500. Employees Medicare, 120. Office supplies, 4,500. Postage government, 2,000. Audit, $8,875. Liability and workman's compensation insurance, 10,000. Internet, phone, and website, 5,500. MTA membership and mileage, 7,000. Education and trading government, 1,500. Sirens maintenance, 17,160.
So remind me, the money that was in here for the sirens last meeting is,
It's under the ARPA funds in the
It's-
back. Yeah, I
okay.
moved it, so it was in there twice.
gotcha.
It explains move
Yeah.
$290,400
Yeah,
cost of
just
sirens
aware
for
I
capital
didn't-
outlay.
Capital outlay, right.
ARPA funds. Printing and publishing government, 2,500. Street lighting, 3,000. support service and contracts, 25,000, and that went up because of the potential for, moving into the internet security. Hall repairs, hall repair items and cleaning, 5,000. Copier lease, 1,000. Property expense and taxes, $1. Miscellaneous expenses, 500. Flags, banners, and signs, 550. Refunds, 200. Service charges, 100. For a total governmental expense of 105,029.70. Wages supervisor, 29,316.09. Wages deputy, 5,000. Wages, or employers FICA, $2,388. Employees Medicare, $559. Membership and mileage, $625. Education and training, $625. For a total, for the supervisor's department of $42,713.09. Wages elections, 5,000. Office supplies elections, 500. Voting materials and equipment maintenance, 3,250. Postage elections, 2,000. Membership and mileage, 500. Education and training, 600. Printing, publishing, elections, $1,200. And meals, 500. For a total for elections department of $13,550. Wages and assessing, $41,892. Land divisions, 1,500. Office supplies, 50. Postage assessing, 2,000. Computer support and maintenance assessing, 2,000. Apex software support fee, 1,324.
Oh, we got it backwards. The 1324 is for the computer maintenance.
Okay,
Yep, and then 235 is Apex.
got it. I didn't move my right finger fast enough. Membership and mileage, 250. Education and training is 800. For a total in our assessing department of 48,051. Attorneys miscellaneous matter attorney, 22,500. For a total for our attorneys department, 22,500. Clerks, clerk wages, 34,647.85. Deputy wages, clerk, 15,000. Employees Medicare, employees FICA, $3,339. Employees Medicare, $781. Health insurance, $4,200. Computer support, maintenance, clerk, $3,238. Membership and mileage, $600. Education and training, $600. For a total in the clerk's department of $62,405.85. Board review wages, $800. Employers FICA, $49.60. Employers Medicare, $11.60. Education and training, $600. Printing and publishing board review, $120. Meals, $100. For a total in our board of review of $1,681.20. Wages treasurer, $32,191.52. Wages deputy treasurer, $15,000. Employers FICA, $3,187. Employers Medicare, $746. Postage, mailings, treasurer, $3,200. Health insurance, $4,200. Computer support and maintenance, treasurer, $1,166. Membership and mileage, $100. Education and training, $200. For a total in the treasurer's department of $59,790.52. Wages, building and grounds, $5,000. Employees FICA, $124. Medicare, $30. Snow and grass services, $3,500. Contractual services and storm damage, $1. We kept that open from the storm. Utilities, $6,500. For a total in our building and grounds budget of $15,155. Maintenance cemetery, $3,500. For a total in our maintenance cemetery budget, $3,500. Ordinance official, wages code official, $15,000. Liquor inspections, $1,300. Employees FICA, $1,011. Employee Medicare, $237. membership and mileage $750, telephone code official $1,000, for a total of $19,298 for the code enforcement department. Inspections, wages inspections, $35,450. Electrical wages, $7,500. Mechanical wages, $6,000. Plumbing wages, $5,000. Secretary wages, $32,085.93. Vacation secretary, $2,500. Employers, FICA, $6,028. Health or Medicare, $1,345. Health insurance, $4,200. Retirement, $2,558. Office supplies and inspections, $250. Postage, building, $200. Computer support and maintenance and building, $1,239. Telephone and building, $1,300. Membership and mileage, $1,200. Refunds, $200. For total in our inspections department for $107,055.93.
Can we go back to Christine's wages? I know you didn't want to open up her contract.
Yep.
Um,
She got a 7% on her retirement.
7.9%.
Yeah.
7% on retirement for a part-time employee.
That was
That's
a,
outrageous.
It's MERS.
it's
She
contract.
shouldn't even be on that. That's
Anyways.
outrageous.
Planning commission, wages planning, $6,228.
It is unbelievable.
Meeting per diem, $900. Employees FICA, $442. Employees Medicare, $104. Postage, planning, $150. Planner site plan reviews, attorney engineering, $8,000. Community planner, $6,600. PDR committee, $750. Education and training, $1,000. Printing, publishing, planning, $750. Land division splits, $1,200. For total in our planning commission budget for $26,124. Zoning Board of Appeals, wages ZBA, $1,060. Secretary wages, $300. Employers FICA, $85. Employers Medicare, $20. Postage ZBA, $100. Printing and publishing ZBA, $200. For a total of $1,765 in our Board of Appeals budget. Roads, maintenance, chloride roads, $28,000. Powell Road, reconstruction project, $91,000, which is half of what the anticipated, cost share will be to rebuild Powell Road. Drain maintenance, $4,000. Limestone, $25,005, for a total in our roads, budget of $148,005. Engineers, Spalding to Decker, $5,000, for a total in our engineering department of $5,000. Our transfer site wages, transfer site, $1,510. Employees FICA, $100. Employee Medicare, $24. Transfer site monthly expenses, $67,380. Maintenance transfer site, $1,500, for a total in our transfer site budget of $70,514. Township Park, park wages, $3,888.65. Employers FICA, $242. Employers Medicare, $57,000. Macomb Moore-
$57.
Or 57,
If you're paying $57,000 for Medicare, we gotta talk.
thanks. Macomb Orchard Trail, $7,000, again, $2,000 for the maintenance, $5,000 for the, or $5,000 for maintenance, $2,000 for the membership. Park improvements, North Avenue, $60,000. Park walking path, no budget. Membership and mileage, $150. Utilities park, $500. Maintenance park, $12,000.
All right, can we talk about the park improvements item now?
Go ahead.
Gary provided some information. Do we want to talk about lights and budget, how much, and how we should properly budget for lights if we think there's support for that project in the next fiscal year? So Gary, could you kind of explain a little bit what you have
Yes, I can give you a packet of paper. We got a quote from Chad Nickel. I guess he's representing ABA baseball. The first page is the tech from Evergreen Applied Technical. That's the equipment needed to put the lights in. The poles, lights, everything.
And there's steel poles
Steel
proposed
poles,
on
6
this
steel
anyway?
poles. The second pages, the second and third pages, I couldn't, because he sent a PDF, I couldn't merge them into one, but if you set them next to each other, you can see the layout of the technology, or the equipment from the technology company, and Joule Electric costs, and Orchard Construction costs. I had to rework a few numbers here, because I think he switched them around, especially the first one there, at 32,700, it's supposed to be 37,200. So the total cost is 115,450.
So simply put, ABA believes that it'll cost $115,000 to put lights on the East Township field.
Yes,
That's what they think the actual cost would be.
that's the prices I have here, yes.
And I do want to quickly note that on, must have been last week sometime, let's see. Anyway, there was a bid that was for a few lights, and I think it was in Lake Orion, that just happened to be due, and I emailed them. I haven't heard back saying, can you please give me the bids results so we can have something to compare. That was for more than one field, but the scope looked very similar except for multiple. So I do intend to provide that to the board when I get those figures as a comparison. But so, as far as the township, if we were to use 115 as a budget figure, have you had any discussions with ABA on how much of that they would be able to cover, and if any of that cost is donated to reduce? What would be the outstanding
At this
balance?
point, with the 115 number, ABA is willing to put in 30,000.
Is they're able to commit 30,000?
They could commit 30,000.
And then-
Now, you know, like we did with the scoreboard, we had a large number of donations. And he hasn't gone through and worked some donations, but he wants to get people to donate to get this price down. But as it stands without that, if the township puts in 80, ABA puts in 30, we're at 110,000.
So I know last meeting we had some discussion. Supervisor expressed how he believes the project would move forward, should move forward, and that's not wrong. But there's also is there a way to coordinate with ABA option? And so my question would be, if the township is interested in moving forward in a project, how do we properly budget that? To me, the worst case would be the supervisor's proposal, which is that the township facilitate the project 100% and talk to engineers and put it out for bids. So in that case, we would need to budget for 100% of the project, and then we should show potential not match, but funds coming from AB under the revenue side. Does that sound appropriate to you guys? And if so, are we willing to?
Here's the bottom line. I'm still perplexed that the board didn't know we were putting in conduit for lights on the field last year. And I'm still perplexed that we don't have permits for the electrical work that was put in the ground.
What I don't understand is how it got by the board planning and building without any of those questions coming up.
The contractor is supposed to pull a permit.
I know that, I
And-
made them well aware of that.
And what happens here is, it says, any purchase of goods for services exceeding a contractual cost of $500 and up to $2,499 shall require a department manager to obtain at least 3 written quotes if possible. Any purchase of goods or services exceeding $2,500 shall require the solicitation of bids. The supervisor, in consolidation with the department manager, shall develop bid specifications. The department manager may request permission from the township board to waive the bidding requirements if there is only one supplier on there in some other compelling reason to waiver the bid procedure.
Can you read all of them? Because there's more than just one.
Oh yeah, I'm going through the whole.
Okay.
the whole
There's more than one reason why you wouldn't have to put it out for bids, just so that we're.
The invitation to bid or requested services shall be published at least once in a newspaper with a large enough customer base to attract bids and shall be sent to unknown vendors or other parties
known vendors.
who have notified the township of their interest in submitting bids on the goods and services being purchased. The township board must approve all advertising. Sealed bids shall be opened at the office of the township supervisor at the pre-announced date and time, and any interested party may be present for the bid opening. The supervisor, along with the department manager, shall be present for the bid opening. The criteria for awarding bids shall be as follows: cost, reliability, cleanliness, sufficiency of equipment, insurance, references, good communications, and quality. Any board member or department manager or any township employee who has any ownership or other interest in a company submitting a bid shall disclose the conflict of interest to the board, and that the official shall not participate in awarding the bid. The township board may authorize the execution of a contract without competitive sealed bids if the material, product or services is available from only one vendor, sole source supplier, or a public emergency exists in accordance with the emergency purchasing section of this manual, or after solicitation of a number of sources, competition is determined to be inadequate, or the township could obtain an advance or benefit not otherwise obtained if competitive bid procedures were followed, or the contract involves a purchase under a cooperative purchasing agreement. Then it goes on for emergency
How old
purchases.
is that document?
This is our policies and
Yeah,
procedures.
so from
2019
from
we did it.
2019,
How would it ever anyway? How do you have a pavilion out there
No.
that had no furnace?
I understand.
So, just to reiterate the point that I think is most important in that, because of where you're stressing, the township could obtain an advantage or benefit not otherwise obtainable if competitive bidding procedures were followed. So, to me, and I agree with Supervisor that a project of that scope needs to be, has to be headed through the township board. It wouldn't be ABA taking the lead on a project. But if we are able to facilitate the project by coordinating with ABA and working with contractors that were donating, certainly ABA could donate, if you will, $30,000 towards the project. But if by working with ABA and their members who are contractors, they know, they can provide, somebody's not gonna bid it to say, I'm gonna donate, they're gonna bid it to bid it and make money. But if we prove before going out to bids that we have commitments for a significant amount of savings to go that route, I would not be opposed, as long as it's all done properly and professionally. I would not be opposed to it if it saves the township money and we get the same product. That's all I'm getting at. I think it's important to stress that it's not an automatic that this project needs to go out for bids, again, if everything else is in place.
I would strongly recommend going out for bids. I mean, you're talking a lot of electric work, and I think we leave professionals for electricity.
So you're saying they're not professionals that quoted that?
No,
that are-
but I would say
Actually, we never.
you would bid it out, pull the permits, and go with a reputable.
Oh, yeah,
firm.
whether it was bid or not,
Right.
permits need to be pulled, it needs to be done
But
properly.
one question I had though, in materials, we listed, they're saying that they need a 480 amp box, or we already have a 480
I
box?
think we need a 480.
Yeah, that might be something we have to clear with DTE as well. And we may not have, on our grid up here in Armada, we just may not have the throughput for that type of juice. And I don't know if that's all
They
already
have lights
spec'd out.
across the street, I'm sure they've got the
I'm sure they could
juice
find the
source.
juice, but we don't have 480 source of power at the park, which would have to come in from the road.
Which
Yeah,
was
With
a
a transformer. yeah.
major expense,
Yes.
I
and
can't
that's
answer
probably
that.
not, yeah. And then I'm gonna just take a mild step back on how we got to this point in the first place. Is this something that the township is obligated to do, or is this an
No.
ask?
No,
And so the reason why I bring this up is because there was, not too long ago, we had a motion to put some surveillance on a very busy road that potentially could save lives, right? Blake's needed to survey their road, very busy, very frustration, and we had there were some residents that were mad that we spent township money to protect people.
No, that's not what they were mad about, so
No,
don't
that's-
mislead the
That's
case.
why I voted yes, because, yes, I see that road as a serious hindrance.
You do.
I do. So now I have to spend township money on a park that's used for a baseball diamond, and I'm just this is $80,000. And I'm looking for it from a benefit of a township residents, right? Is this something that township residents go? And it's something I need to pause and consider from a township resident. As a trustee, is this a valid spend? $80,000 is a lot of money. It's been a good economy up until now, but times are changing. And our budget, right now, we're already operating a deficit, assuming we're gonna purchase sirens. So is this the moment that we spend this money? Is this needed? And what benefit of the township, what's the return of my neighbors down the street?
Well,
So that's how I'm looking at this.
The lights on the field have been debated for almost as long as water and sewer. We've talked about them for about
Yep.
10 years.
Mhm.
But like when we put the scoreboards in, we were supposed to have an engineered design of the field, where they were going, where the lights were going, or where the power was going. We don't even know where the pipes are in the ground and where the power's in the ground. We don't even know if they called a mistake. We don't know who the contractor was that did the work. So we kind of have to clean up what we've
Did
already
anybody
done.
notify the building department that we
The
approved that project?
contractors- the
Well, Gary told him to
contractors
pull the
obligated.
permits.
I
But
mean,
if they-
from the board, did Christine even know that
She
scoreboards
didn't
were
even
going
know
up?
that, no. Mm-mm.
The contractor's obligated to pull a permit. And it's like telling me I didn't know somebody was replacing a water heater in their house.
So I'm following your answer, and can I go play on this park? Would it be open up to the residents?
More so than you can Blake's.
There
I-
you go,
I-
without being charged.
I think
you know,
that, I hope that,
Will it be open to the community?
it's
It
a
is.
park,
No,
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
public park.
Yeah,
Right.
anybody can use it.
I think that your concerns are valid for the scoreboard, but I hope that your frustration with how that project went isn't impacting your decision to support the light project, because it's a different project and we can
Well,
learn
my
from
concern
our
is that
mistakes.
we didn't ever put together a bid specifications, and we never sent it out for bid, and we never got sealed bids. We have
Well,
one
in
bid.
in that case, ABA requested it, they came to the board and we approved it. We didn't say at that time, if we wanted to put it out for
Did
bids,
the
we
ABA come
could
to the
have.
board and we approved it?
We
The lights?
approved purchasing the scoreboard.
The scoreboard, yeah.
The scoreboard
We're
itself,
talking about
right.
the light.
Yeah, we approved with the understanding they were installing them. I mean, so I just think I don't know if it's misleading or what, but to imply that they did something other than not pulling the permits, to imply that they should have gone out for bids, we didn't direct them to. We didn't say you can't do the project. We said, go for it, we'll support it, this is a good idea. That's what we said. So now you're kind of like spinning it
No,
around.
no,
It's
no,
not fair.
Stop with spinning it around, okay? Because when you have a contractor that comes in with a line bore and starts putting electrical in the ground and wires it into our building and doesn't pull a permit, and we don't know where those lines are, what am I missing?
I've already said, I agree, you're right.
Oh,
I don't know
then
how
what
that
am I
happened.
missing?
I wasn't part of that
But
project.
how does that come back onto the board or the planning, or the building department when they don't even, they're not even notified it's going on?
I'm arguing your point of it didn't go out for
And
bids, things
supposed
that
to
you're
pull
saying.
permits before you even start the work.
I agree.
So how many people were there? What kind of insurance did they have? Anything could have happened. That's a huge
I
liability.
think that,
And now we got lines in the ground, we don't even know where they are.
you mean empty conduit?
No, we have actual electrical lines that turn the scoreboards on under the ground, we don't know where they are.
So we should be requesting that information. We should be requiring that information. Have we pursued that?
That information should have
Since
came.
the
I'm
project
saying
was
that
done, have you
information-
asked for it?
That information should have came to us before we
I
even
don't
started.
understand why we're arguing about this 8 months later.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
didn't this come up when
I
this
don't-
was done?
yeah, I
This
don't-
is ridiculous we're arguing about the
Well,
scoreboards
because-
when we're talking about lights.
We actually didn't
I'm
find
up here
out,
wasting my time. I really am.
we didn't find out you put conduit in the ground for the
Well, how
lights
the hell are you gonna put
until 2
scoreboards
budget
up?
meetings ago.
I can put scoreboards up. I told those guys, they understood, they're all licensed contractors. I told them they had to put permits. We went through this with the pavilion. They had to do the job properly. I stood in front of the planning commission and went through this whole thing. They approved it, the board approved it, so I'm not sure why we're talking about this 8 months later. It's water under the bridge as far as I'm concerned. We should be talking about the lighting. let's make a decision on the lighting. We can follow those rules, which make no sense to me, because I have bids sitting here. And we have an offer from an organization that wants to give us a good deal on lights and willing to do all the work. I
You
mean,
have
we should be
one
able to
bid
work with
here.
them, not fight with them.
You have one bid here.
So I have one bid from ABA, from Chad Nichol, who's considered an ABA. I have another one here from, I'm not sure what company this is, but I'm gonna find out.
Monty?
And then the Conti one is from 2018. I called them today, they're putting another offer together for me. But if you look at this one, this was only for 2 poles at $87,000 4 years ago. So I will contact this Musco company tomorrow. I just got all this paperwork today.
And the purpose of, to bring it back, the purpose of our discussion today really is cost. It's not approving a project, it's not really even approving how we're going to build the project. It's, do we support a project, and if so, financially, how much are we interested in investing in? That's really where we're at now.
Now, you're looking at this Musco quote from April of '21. A small field loan starts at $145,000. And you know, any type of material is going up 25 to 30% in a year. That's probably closer to 165 to 200,000 this year. That's all I'm saying. I'll get updated quotes. It's no problem.
The $60,000 that was budgeted for an approach and partial payments towards the lights and the regular.
I was just putting the park budget. That's all I know. $60,000. I didn't know if it was for the approach or.
Yeah,
We were talking
no,
about
we
the approach
discussed
prior
last
Yeah,
to.
because you asked if the 25, if the whole 60,000 could be used for lights. No, the
Right.
25,000 was for the approach.
So last
If
meeting,
you're
we
saying you
did
can hold off
discuss,
on
and
What's that?
We discussed holding off on the approach.
Yeah, and we
using
brought
the
up
60
that-
And putting, and rolling that 25,000 in,
Yeah.
which
Right.
was the approach was part of that $60,000.
at the last meeting, we discussed what was included, and it was, at least I left with the impression that the 60,000 was towards lights, if we were to go for that, and that Parks Director approved spending this, requesting the 60,000 be spent on the lights.
Instead of the approach,
Yeah,
because the
not-
approach
not
was
related to
not,
approach.
was a
So
lower.
this money-
priority.
Me and Jim had been talking about the approach for some time, and Jim had put numbers together, and we've been discussing it. The lights came up after the fact.
Right,
So we talked about putting the approach off for future, because they want to get the lights done right away.
right, no, I understand that, that
Okay.
was, I understood that was originally your plan, was
Our
that, well, your
approach
dream
was
was to
the
do
plan.
that, but the lights
Or more,
Right.
were more, a higher priority for you. Yeah, I understand that.
yeah. And then instead of the 60,000, you've got like the $80,000.
Right.
Then an ABA would contribute 30,000, and then, plus 4,500, that would be more donations. Looks like you're
Yeah.
short, right?
He's got donation support, he hasn't
Okay.
worked it yet, but
I personally, as far as the budget figure, was comfortable with 60,000 if the township was interested in providing 60,000, and if ABA and donations were able to cover the rest of the costs, regardless of how we get to that number, again, through a formal bid process, if that's what the board supports, but I would struggle to, I think it's important that the organization primarily that's going to use it, not that another, the public couldn't utilize those lights. I think they're primarily gonna be the user, so I do think it's important for an investment on their end. 60,000, if the board thinks it's a little more, I would support that within reason, but that's the number we had previously, and, I
Right,
know.
I'm fine with the $60,000 budget, but yeah, my opinion is that it needs to go out for bid, and everything
Do
has
an
to be
RFP.
done.
I think we need to do an RFP.
And
Yeah.
quite honestly, I think the approach is probably a safer investment of money, because that approach can be tough for people to get out of in their cars with the gravel and stuff.
I agree. But I believe that companies that are willing to do this work to get these lights on, want to get it done right away. They might not decide to do it next year. It might change. And that's why this has come up so quickly, just like the scoreboard bid. It's the same scenario.
Anybody who's
a lot-
dealt with
A lot of their volunteering their time and their effort.
Volunteers, that's how it's not the same. it's the timing of the volunteers, you know, so you
Right.
are.
It
you are-
can be, but I know when there's procedures in place, it's followed
Yeah,
typically,
I
so.
think that,
I've been
well,
involved with other
to
organizations.
that point, whether it's bid or it's volunteers, the contractor could easily not pull permits. So to say that bidding it is going to resolve that concern, I don't think that's true at all, unless,
Well, it's under one
Well,
blanket. It's under one
Not
blanket.
me.
They provide their insurance and they pull the permits for the work that they're gonna do because it's all part of a bid specification. Same thing happened, and I'll talk about the skate park. Skate park was built by Spawn Ranch out of California. They're specialists and professionals at building skate parks. They quoted the job out at $300,000. The kids raised $136,000. They actually paid for all the engineering design work, and the stuff that was donated, once the park came to fruition and they were $70,000 short, was the grubbing of the trees and the grubbing of the land, was the surveying by King Survey, was rebar, gravel, sand. But all those materials and supplies were given to the contractor that was building the park. It wasn't, AIP donated all of the equipment they used for excavating and sculpting, all of that at no charge.
Was that project put out for bid?
nope,
Silent bid?
Yes,
It was
yes,
sole
It
source.
was bid by, yep, it was sole source for that one, but they had sent it out to two different parks.
two
So we
different
got
parks.
sealed bids from more than one source.
And we were able to get donations, that doesn't, typically it doesn't work that way, so it's not, it's not really comparable project.
Well,
but I
in
appreciate you
organizations that I've been with, it has worked that way.
Bid it, and so you're saying they could bid it and contractor could donate their time and lower the price, you're saying?
Or,
That they would
you know,
do
Where
even,
other people
even the
donate
engineers
afterwards?
donated the, field techs to come out and check the cement mixtures.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is very possible, because I have worked on a number of projects in a number of different areas,
Well, so
and it has worked that way,
right
so.
here, we have 115, I guess we'll see when it goes out to bids what it costs. I suspect that's gonna be a deal breaker, but as far as funding.
But
Yeah.
I would certainly, I would certainly think that that approach is important.
I understand the approach is important, but it could be put off another year.
Yeah, I actually didn't see that, it's not like it's falling apart, you just need it widened, people have made it out of there and into there so far in all these years.
Well, you know how long we've been playing baseball without lights? Okay, same argument.
Well,
You're
Major
talking
League
about lights,
Baseball
I'm
has
talking about
lights,
that
come on,
approach.
Yeah.
all the major ball fields have lights, they played without them first, why did they change?
So, and I appreciate it, and thank you. I mean, I'm not familiar, and I will do a little research, but I also know that this is a bad time of the year for electricity. It's tripled in price. All of your raw materials are tripled in price. I caution, I don't know if this is where I would want to invest, or when I would want to invest in something of this size. And that's just where I'm coming from. Perhaps there's supply chain bubbles, 2023, 2024, things come down. We don't know, but that is the risk, is if we do a no this year, they might pull their money off the table. You know,
Everything's a
is it an
risk,
$80,000
but,
risk?
yeah, and,
you know?
and there's no guarantee price, they're gonna come down, they're not gonna
Like,
go up more,
Gary, I mean, you got a
it's-
quote a couple, was that 2 years ago with the two light poles?
Mhm.
And,
At
and that was
$87,000.
pretty high, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
empty.
That's only two
So,
poles. Imagine
and
six
that
poles.
didn't include a 480 amp,
Right.
or, so that was interesting too.
Well, it might have been because it was less lights, maybe.
could be.
You start pulling in
There's only two
480
poles.
volts from the road, the new transformer.
Yeah, I do think
it's
that
big
that's a
cost.
valid point, that's probably not included in this cost, so.
And it should, you know, I mean, if the value is there and the township feels that it's worth it, then perhaps, but that's what I have to do a little research on. And that's where I'm at tonight. You know, you're asking an 80,000 investment for something that's very high in price right now. And we are going into bad times, and I'm looking at a budget right now that is not, we're under budget. You know, we're operating at a deficit in 2022, assuming all things are equal.
So I don't see prices going down in the next 3 years. Absolutely not.
Right.
The,
So we say no to sirens, or we say no to.
Well, remember that
Well, the
the
sirens are paid
siren
with
money
the
is
American Rescue
ARPA
Plan.
money.
But that's what I'm saying, that's what we're doing tonight, is working on
Yeah.
budget, and
We-
I agree
we have
with
to
you, you
spend
know,
that
it's like, if we need lights in a park, you know, where else are we going to look at?
So Do we just leave the 60,000 in there and go to an RFP? I mean, we need to do something.
It needs to be, it needs
To
to be
start.
sent out for bid.
Well, I think
Yeah,
realistically,
Yeah.
That would be my
But what else?
personal choice,
realistically,
would be to leave the 60 as
Leave that
is.
in, and then
and
RFP.
RFP.
but you're not gonna, if there's only 60,000 in the bid, you're not gonna get a
No,
bid for
Yeah.
60,000.
Oh, no.
No,
we don't.
So then
when we
you're- what's the-
understand that, because
what-
we understand
Yeah,
the
what's the
cost
point?
of.
What's
Then
the
what's
point
the
of the
point of putting
60,000?
the
Well,
money in?
the point is, I'm not going to just, me personally, I'm not gonna rubber stamp $115,000.
I don't, no, I'm not saying that either.
So
I-
my thing is, we have 60,000 in the budget. Let's stick with what we know,
Which is,
which is we are budgeting for 60,000 and RFP this. This is a project that just came,
What's
if you're
RFP?
expecting,
request for proposal.
if you're expecting, donation, then really you should be at 120 and we put 60,000 in the revenue line, right? Would that be the correct way to do it?
No.
Oh, like a match, is what you're saying, like we do?
Yeah,
with-
that's, otherwise.
No, because if
we're
we
gonna-
put
'cause the township
120 in
would
the
spend
budget, then we're
120.
looking at 120.
Well, the township would have to spend 120 and then the revenue would come in a different line item. So to put 60,000 in revenue implies the project is only gonna
That's-
cost
and that's where,
60,000.
that's where the
That's
board
what we
needs
did
to make the decision, is $120,000 worth of lights more important than
Yep.
the contribution we have to make in the Powell Road? Or to the potential.
Well, we
work we're
have to
doing-
do that, even though we didn't request that
or the
project. We're
potential
forced to
work with the-
participate in
with
that
the
project.
county now stepping in to try to figure out how to do sewer in our industrial district and grow our tax base. Because now that we have Candace Miller and the county public works on board, this thing's gonna start happening, and we just might need $100,000 for a partial buy-in with the county if they decide to purchase the Romeo wastewater treatment plant and expand it for the benefit of the area, which is Romeo, Bruce, and our.
And you think that'll happen in the
Right.
next year?
I think that it's coming. I think that that's what everybody's working on.
And you think our match will be 100,000?
I think our match probably be more than that. But if we can get water and sewer in there and we can build our tax base, there's a return on it.
So we're not spending money on the approach either?
What's that?
So we're saving all the money? That's
There's-
what we're doing?
No, there's $60,000 in the budget, and I think that significant improvements can be made at the park with $60,000 without putting in lights per se right now, because they have to happen right now. They don't have to happen right now. They
And
haven't had
just
lights
because
forever. I spent
60,000 is in the
17 years there. I
budget,
made a
it-
baseball
it doesn't
I
association.
know,
mean
but
we
we've
have
been
to
talking
spend it.
about lights for
We
10
have,
years now.
we have, and.
So now we have a proposal, and it's just not worth, it was a waste of time, is really what you're saying.
Our,
It doesn't follow the process, and, it just, I mean, it just came up. So, I mean, just,
It just came up, are you serious?
oh yeah, no, it
I
just,
wasn't talking to you, we're having a board
Oh,
discussion.
jeez.
It's, there's 60,000 in the budget. As Jason said, we are looking at a deficit. We need to sharpen pencils and everything.
But you're all taking raises.
So, so the $60,000 can be, if it's in the budget, it can be used for.
For whatever
So you're saying
is,
if I could come up with the other 55,000 to do the lights, we could still do the light deal then, is what you're saying? Even if we
Is-
send it out for bids and they
well,
were
again,
ridiculous
I
and
don't think we
everything?
need to, I don't think we can have it, because what you're asking us to do is approve a light project, and we can't do that.
yeah,
So, okay, we're
No,
just
he's
gonna
asking us
actually,
to include
Yeah, we,
funds for a
no, we
light
just,
project. is
yeah,
what
we
he's
just can't make a
asking.
decision.
we're gonna
on-
put it aside for now.
Yeah, the board can't make a motion decision, an
Okay,
action decision.
no, that's
on that.
fine, with me. I'd rather have that than spend any more time on this.
What
Really.
we're looking to do is put money towards the project. We're not approving a project. Just to be clear, you're,
Except, except the question to us was just, if you guys let us use the 60 grand, I come up with other 55, we can do the lights. We're not making those decisions tonight.
okay, but you're saying you're willing to put 60,000 for whatever project?
The $60,000, again, was your normal park budget for the stuff you do, was,
25, right,
well, 25,000 towards the approach, and the rest was to go towards the lights. That was why it was raised at our budget meeting.
Okay. Good enough,
Thanks, Gary.
thank you.
Again, our total township park budget is $83,837.65. Our senior center, senior wages are $15,000, FICA 930. Medicare, 218, office supplies, 1,500, bingo, crafts, and event tickets, 8,000. Postage, seniors, 1,150, internet, phone, cable, et cetera, is 2,400. Utilities for the senior center is 3,200. Maintenance seniors is 5,500, for a total budget for our senior center of $37,898, for total appropriations of $1,294,493.04. We have a beginning balance fund of $1,517,611. Our ending fund balance is $1,166,164.71. So this year's budget is operating at a $351,446.54 deficit.
And remember, that's a little misleading because we've received money previous fiscal year, the ARPA funds that we're going to spend in the next fiscal year, so that's why there's such a difference.
Mhm.
And that was 200,000, which still
Right.
leaves
Yeah.
us at 151,466 in deficit.
But there's a lot of years we don't spend it all and it goes up, and there's years that because we save for other projects where we spend it down. That's
Yeah, well,
as long as we trend in the right direction generally.
Right. Not to say, I mean, my thing is, just because there's a budgeted amount doesn't mean, you're budgeted $5,000, you have to spend $5,000, so.
Right.
Yeah, and when you go back over our budgets, very few lines get run
Right,
over.
right,
It's just a tool, budget's a tool.
right.
Everybody else set?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:55.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Our meeting is now adjourned.